Hello and welcome to this video talking about the opportunity of Office 365 with Citrix in your customers. My name is Tom Hickling. I'm a cloud solution architect at Microsoft and I'm joined by Alex. Alex, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. My name's Alex Hill. I'm the Partner Recruit Manager for the UK for Cloud and Mid-Markets, and specifically working with Tom and the Microsoft team on our propositions to help you as our joint partners sell more to your customers.
So as we mentioned, this video is all about growing your business with the opportunities that are out there at the moment with Office 365, which more than likely is going to be already in your customers, but also by delivering that with Citrix solutions. So the question then is, why is Office 365 interesting for you, or why should it be interesting for you? Well, as you're more than likely aware, the cloud has been around for a number of years and it really has changed everything in the IT landscape and industries. So if you just think of some of the companies that have been born in the cloud, like Netflix and Uber, own and manage no infrastructure and yet deliver a fantastic digital experience to millions of those customers. And that really extends throughout many industries, many individual businesses, and us as individuals, where we are consuming more and more services from a plethora of devices, and in particular our mobile devices. So just a few of the numbers that we have seen within the Office 365 as a business itself. We're seeing over 85% of the Fortune 500 enterprises are already Office 365 customers and are consuming those services. And 60% of those are using at least one of the cloud services coming out of Office 365. And overall, we're seeing around about a 300% growth in the data that is both generated and consumed by the Office 365 suite of applications. And we continually see around about 400 million downloads of our Office mobile app. So it's a big opportunity and it's a big product out there being used by, as we see, so many different customers. And that growth is continuing. So as this slide is just showing you, at the moment there's around about 120 million business users, and that growth, as you can see, going back to October 16, has been significant, and there is every expectation that that growth is going to continue. Having said all of that, as great as a product as it is, Office 365 from the cloud does still have some issues, particularly legacy issues. So, for example, things like macro or VBA doesn't tend to work from Office 365, meaning that there is still an opportunity and in many cases a real requirement to deliver Office 365 via Citrix solutions. And as we're all Citrix customers or experts, then obviously Office 365, or I should say the full apps that make up Office 365, still need to be installed and hosted in order to be delivered to the disparate users who might require the full client to be readily available. And there's typically three ways that that's delivered via Citrix, either as a hosted application in its own right, just delivered directly to the user, or inside of a hosted desktop, be that Zen app or Zen desktop, or there might be the occasion where both are required.
So thanks, Tom, and thanks for the introduction there. So what I wanted to do now is take you through a little bit more on what we can offer from a Citrix perspective into your 365 deployments and into your existing 365 customers. But Tom's already kind of outlined some of the issues here. There's deployment issues because we have to go to the installed local version for some users, and that means migration and updates become a little bit more complicated. Equally, then there's security. How can we add a level of security to some of these applications, i.e. make sure that users are accessing data and apps from 365 in the correct manner, in the correct scenario, and also make sure it's really easy to adopt and provide visibility. Now, we're going to dig into some of these key areas as we go through today, but obviously there are more features here, there are more solutions that you are free to talk to your Microsoft account manager or Citrix account manager as a joint partner of both businesses to fill in a lot of more information and more of the gaps that we won't have time to cover today. So the first idea is that we can actually deliver the full Office suite as an online on-demand application. The beauty of XenApp and XenDesktop is that we can actually have the application installed in the data center. So that allows us to deliver the full Office suite, the full functional Office apps as an on-demand application. And not only that, we can have different versions of Office sat side by side on the same user experience at the same time. And what we often see in customers is they'll start off with a device, and they may want a certain version of Office. So, here's an older version of Office going onto this MacBook Pro here, but this is being run in conjunction with a new version of Office as well. So both versions here are Office. Now, they may be needed and used by the same user because macros or plugins may only work on a certain version of Office. So they may be tactically using a certain version of Office to do one application or one function, whereas they'll be using the majority of the time on the newer version of Office. And as you can see here, both versions here are running side by side. In this case, we've got 2010 and 2016 using XenApp. To a user, they're just able to do both things that they wanted to do. So they're using the old 2010 version of Office to do a function that requires an older plugin, for example, into Word in this case. And then day-to-day, they're going to be using a new version of Office to do their day-to-day work as well, outside of that one scenario. So not only are we allowing these macros to happen, these plugins that don't work in the online version of 365, we're allowing users to get access to what they want and what they need to do their job by running both versions side by side on the Mac. And equally, the user can still use the local version of Office. Obviously, there are differences in functionality sometimes between some of these versions, or different preferences in the way users use them. So we can actually provide all three by combining the 365 subscription and the XenApp solution and the XenDesktop solution to give this user, in this case, the three versions of Office that they may want to use and quite rightly should be able to use in their day-to-day work. Alongside this as well, what we can add is a level of security. Now, obviously, if we go mobile, if users start to adopt this kind of cloud working scenario where they can access the app from anywhere, and probably most of the customers that you work with will have users who do this already or have plans to allow their users to do this. We don't want to just give access to the apps and the data from wherever the user is. We want to add some contextual awareness into where these users are using these applications. And that becomes really important when you get into Office and Office 365, because a lot of the documents that go through Word, a lot of the spreadsheets that go through Excel, and a lot of the PowerPoints decks that go through PowerPoint are going to be very confidential. They're going to have a lot of information that maybe we don't want other people seeing over someone's shoulder in a coffee shop, or indeed we don't want to have leaked onto a local machine and then lost for control. So what we can introduce is something called Smart Access. It's a feature that we can add into our XenDesktop and XenApp deployments, whether they're on-prem or in the Citrix Cloud solutions. And it can look at who is connecting, so who is the user that's connecting into this solution. How are they connecting? So from what device, or are they coming in from a full form factor? Are they coming from a small form factor? What browser are they using as well? And what resources can they therefore access based on those two parameters, based on those solutions? So what we can do is not just say you get access to everything from wherever you are. We can start to contextualize that access based on the results of these endpoint analysis scans. And to give you an example here, here's some of the features that we can turn off or on through our Smart Access solution. Whether they can, for example, use Word remotely, but then let Word pick up a document from a local USB stick. Now, obviously, if it's coming from a personal device, we've got no idea whether that USB device is secure, has got any viruses on, or indeed that if that Word document on that USB stick has something malicious contained within it as well. We can stop them talking to local storage. We can control cut and paste outside of the Office 365 app through XenApp and XenDesktop, and on. So we can level out what the user can do based upon the context that they're coming in from, location, device, and scenario, based on what we call endpoint analysis scans, an example of which is here. The client tries to access Office 365. Now, in this case, we can do this through a NetScaler only. Again, for more information on how to do this, please contact your account manager or your contact at Microsoft or Citrix. But we can start to look at the context users coming in from once they've logged in. We can see where they're coming in, how what NetScaler looks at, their credentials, issues their token, and then change their context in that case as well. So we can not only publish the app, we can give you access to different versions, we can let you use those macros or those plugins. We can also start to change the user experience based upon the contextual access that the user is coming in from. Now, if we move on from that, what about users picking up the 365 suite from their mobile devices? Now, obviously, there is 365 for mobile, so for your tablet or for your smartphone, and they're heavily used by 365 users as a great way to access information, to also edit documents on the fly as well. But obviously, again, there's an opportunity there for users to lose data, to actually have data locally, and therefore if they lose that device or they take that device away with them when they leave the business, data can be left behind or accessed by someone who should not have access to that data. So when we add Zen Mobile into here through either the Zen Mobile solution on its own or the connector for EMS and Intune that we've now made available through Zen Mobile in Citrix Cloud, we can start to say, well, we can do two things. We can enforce a passcode at device level if they want to use 365, or by publishing the 365 mobile application through our Zen Mobile solution, we can put a passcode on accessing the application. So although the app is local, although it's installed and looks like it's local, it's actually running in a silo. And to access that silo, the user will be challenged again, even though they've logged into their device already, to add another PIN code before they can actually access the application. Or we can force that device has to have a PIN code if they want to run the application itself. So you can have both, or you can have an option of either, depending upon whether the device is a fully managed device, i.e. a corporate tablet or a corporate phone, or a personal device as well. We have the option to do both as well. We can also ensure secure communication. So email as part of 365, we can make sure that that communication between the mobile device and the back-end 365 infrastructure is made securely by introducing one of our VPNs through the NetScaler gateway functionality as well. So wherever data is, that, for example, this email application from 365, so Outlook, for example, or even secure mail from the Zen Mobile suite, we can make sure that the communications when they're accessing that 365 email subscription is secure in transit or at rest on the local device as well. So again, increasing that security message from that perspective as well. And the other great thing about this as well is now that we're delivering 365 potentially through Zen App and Zen Desktop, we can make that user experience exactly the same on every device. So just like when they're using the 365 apps through the web-based app portal that you get with 365, it looks the same on every single device we access it from. When we push these apps through Zen App or Zen Desktop, they're going to be using something called Receiver, and Receiver will then show them a list of applications that they get access to. In this case, you're seeing Office 2016 on the Mac, but then when the user moves across to the iMac, the full big Mac device on the desktop, it looks the same. And indeed, when they try and run it from the tablet of their choice, it looks the same, whatever tablet they may be. And again, when they go to the Windows laptop as well, it looks exactly the same. So the real consistency they get from 365 now, when they're using the web apps, will continue and remain if they then start to push the Zen App, Zen Desktop route to get access to those 365 apps, and they give the contextual access, they give all the features, and they give access to the full Office application. It will still look exactly the same for that user and for that customer as they go through. So I hope that's given you a good idea of the value add. Obviously, there's more information available for you by talking to your Microsoft account manager, your Citrix account manager, and we are more than happy to give you that information as you talk to us in either vendor as well, and help you relate that sales proposition back into your customers. But equally, there's some great opportunities for you as Citrix or Microsoft partners to be able to upsell or cross-sell those solutions. So for those of you who already have a 365 business or already working with your customers on Office 365, we can actually add that Citrix piece in there to add more value, to add more solutions that customers are potentially already looking for. We can increase that customer stickiness, about that per user return on investment from that customer. We can increase that for you as well. And for those of you who use the Citrix partnership, we can give you that easy entry point into talking to your existing customers. And of course, for all of you on the call today, add more revenues through those value add services by adding Zen App and Zen Desktop, by putting those into an Azure workspace, for example, and then delivering back across the user. We can heavily increase that penetration and that's revenue per user from your customers as well, whilst also giving your customers the security and the functionality that they may already be looking for within their Office 365 solution. So hopefully that's given you a good idea, an entry-level idea on how Citrix can add more functionality in Office 365. Tom, are there any kind of closing comments from your side from today's session?
Only to really repeat what you've just said, that if there's any questions, queries, or any help that's needed, then feel free to reach out to your Microsoft account manager or any contacts you might have inside Microsoft who are knowledgeable on the topic. There will be lots of people willing and able and ready to assist you in answering those questions or helping you in any way.
Great, thanks Tom. Well, it just remains for me to say thank you for everyone for watching, and hopefully this has been a useful session. And again, just to repeat again what Tom says, please reach out to your Microsoft or Citrix contacts and help them to help you to go and take this message into your customer. So I'd like to say thank you very much. Thanks to Tom, and thanks for you all watching today, and we all hope to meet you soon. Thank you very much.